cards with the weird animals. Do you like those? I think we have some of those.
Pokemon. I hate Pokemon.
Okay. What about a book? No, a movie. You want to watch a movie? Let's watch a movie.
I'm telling my dad and he's going to hate you.
Kyle,
Hey!
sit down before I microwave your Allosaurus.
That was Mary-Louise Parker from the Showtime series Weeds. She's won an Emmy, a Tony, and 2 Golden Globes, and now she's an author. Her new book is a memoir in letters titled Dear Mr. You. It's a look back at the men who've influenced her life, her father most of all. How did it feel to write about your father?
It was almost like conjuring him in a sense, and like I got to have him back for a minute.
John Parker, a career military man who served in 3 wars, battled post-traumatic stress, but loved his family unwaveringly. Dear Daddy, his daughter writes, to convey in any existing language how I miss you isn't possible. It would be like Blue trying to describe the ocean.
He gave me so much support and was so excited about my work and so understood it that I never really needed it from anyone else. It's almost felt like when he died that like I was, on stage and the whole audience got up and left is what it felt like.
In Dear Mr. You, Parker also writes to a priest who answered her questions as a little girl, and to the accountant who cleaned up the actress's financial act. You first met when you were broke.
He had to explain to me that I was broke. Not only was I broke, I didn't know that I was broke, which is fairly not that astonishing if you knew me at 23.
Dear Cerberus is addressed to a 3-headed monster of beastly ex-boyfriends. You were the worst of those I called darling, she writes. No one would believe how mean you were.
It's something I don't fully understand about myself, like why I put up with that, or why I allowed that, or why I even maybe sought that out. But writing it certainly helped me to understand it, and I am grateful for those experiences.
Why are you grateful?
Because it forced me, who was a child, who was really a young girl, rather, afraid of a certain kind of rejection. And it forced me to be able to say, you can never speak to me like that again.
Dear Mr. Cab Driver is an apology to the New York cabbie who threw her out of his taxi after she was rude to him during one of the lowest moments of her life. Go, I am not taking you to anywhere, he tells her. I don't want you anymore. No one does, she writes. I am pregnant and alone. It hurts to even breathe. She does not mention she'd just been abandoned by longtime boyfriend Billy Crudup, who left her for actress Claire Danes. Nowhere in the book does Parker name names.
I didn't want to write anything because of the subject matter that would seem like I was trying to elicit sympathy.
Right.
Because I certainly don't want any, and like I say in it, I could be the bad guy in someone else's story.
Dear Doctor goes out to the medical team that saved her life. While she was writing the book, Parker was rushed to the hospital one night when she began coughing up blood.
I went into septic shock when I was there. I asked one of the residents, I said, am I going to make it? And he said, we're doing the very best we can. And he didn't even have time to look at me.
What were you thinking in your head at that moment?
Oh, I was picturing my children. Yeah. And just to picture it probably did something to my body chemistry somehow. I'm sure that it did,
Dear future man who loves my daughter is an appeal to anyone who will fall for her daughter Ash, now 9. Make her drunk unhappy, she writes, with a warning if you don't.
Yes, and I will come back from the grave and hurt you, it's true. You may not hurt my daughter.
Completing the book was painful, Parker says, because her father wasn't there to read it.
When I got the first hard copy of this book, it came in an envelope and I threw it in my closet and I just couldn't open it because I thought if he can't see it, and I didn't expect to feel that way.
But a friend reminded her how disappointed her dad would have been by that.
I have an image of him if he were able to hold it, and it's almost as good. He's that clear to me and he's that present still that it's almost as good. And that's a massive gift to give your child, to think like, who am I to think I could write a book? Well, I'm, you know, that man's daughter, because he made me think I could do almost anything, really.
Dear Mr. U is published by Scribner, an imprint of Simon & Schuster, a division of CBS. It's an absolutely lovely book, and despite the fact she doesn't name any names, it's incredibly personal and very revealing.
I mean, even hearing her in the interview, it makes you tear up to hear that she has gone through so much, and I think that's wonderful that she didn't name names.
Yeah, it's really great.